All right, it's your boy Dcentos, and I'm back in it with another video. I don't got my man StrawhatYomo with me because he's busy right now. He's in school grinding, but you know, I've decided to do a new series or something a little bit different on my channel where it's not necessarily going to be a review, but we're just going to take sections of anime that we can kind of relate to and speak about. So today, the anime I'm going to do is called Blue Period. It was produced by Studio 7 Arcs, I believe, and it aired last year, so from October 2021 to December 2021. And if you're interested in watching it, you can find it on Netflix, so know that. Okay, so Blue Period takes place in high school, and if you watch a lot of anime, high school is the main setting for most shows. And the reason I think this is the case is because it's a very pivotal point in your life, in my opinion. At this point in life, you don't really have responsibilities. You don't really know anything about the world at all. So at this point, you're asked a very pivotal question. What are you going to do for the rest of your life? And for some, it's, you know, I'm going to go to college. Others, college ain't for me. I'm going to go to the military. And some, let me go straight into the workforce and let me try and figure some stuff out before I spend money in college. And to be honest, these are all very, you know, plausible ideas because at the end of the day, everyone is different. And, this show, Blue Period, is no different at all. So the main character, his name is Yator Yaguchi. And, the first scene of the show, you see him having fun with his friends, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do in life at all. But he has these ideals in his head, because Yatora is a straight A student. All he knows is that he wants to make money from whatever he decides to do from college, because making money is the end goal of him studying like that. And I mean, personally, this is a very relatable experience. So if you listen to any of our previous reviews, uh StrawhatYomo and myself will joke about we'll make some Nigerian jokes because we are Nigerian. And if you ever been raised in a household like that, or to be honest, any foreign household, there's a lot of emphasis and pressure on education. Pursuing things such as medicine, um engineering, to being a lawyer, anything that will make you a lot of money at the end of the day is something that they want you to pursue. And it's a very how should I put this, it's a very one track mindset, because cultures like that don't believe in uh, basically the arts. Any of the majors in the arts, those things are not guaranteed to make you money in their eyes and in their opinion. So they strive and they convince you, not to pursue those things. So you have this pressure of, what do you actually want to do? What do you enjoy versus what's going to get you money? And you know, at the end of the day, I think most kids, they kind of go with what their parents says, because that's your parents are supporting you. No one else is going to support you, so that's the only option that you have. Okay, so Yatora has a couple of meetings with the art club in the beginning of the episode, leading into the second episode, and essentially he comes in there and with the idea of, why would I ever pursue something like art if this is something that I can't make money off of? He's very right. Um, they talk about the cost of schooling. So, in particular, Turkey University of the Arts, or GETA as they call it in the dub, believe that's a private university, and they're comparing that to going to medical school, engineering, and law school. Essentially, from you know what they described in the anime was that the prices that go into these schools are all very similar, but with art, you have the least likely chance of getting a job after school. And this is something that's a real life um, issue that happens with, high school students, because you have your parents, pushing you towards an idea or an ideal of you need to go to school to get a job to make money. And, even if it's not something that you really, really want to do, but at the same time, you have to respect your parents' wishings. One, most likely or not, they're funding your college education. And two, even if they aren't, they do understand the job market, and they do know that, you know, there are a lot of people that go to college and they major in something that they cannot get a job in, and they're pretty much left in careers that had nothing to do with their major. So now they're in this whole bunch of debt. So it's a very important, thing to consider. So later on in the episode, he paints a picture of Shibuya, and it's like this blue, beautiful image. And he goes back to the art club, and he shows it to the art teacher. I believe his name is Sayaka Sensei. I could be pronouncing that wrong, but you know, Yatora, for the first time in his life, has found his passion. He said, art makes me feel different. It allows me to express myself. I really like it. Call me crazy, but maybe let me try to pursue this. And the teacher quickly tells him, art is great, but the chances of you getting into Tokyo University of the Arts is 1 in 200. She brings up on one topic that I want to talk about, is that she tells him you don't actually need to go to art school to be an artist. At the end of the day, it can just be a hobby. And I actually like that sentiment, because some of these, I personally think there are some techniques and some things that you can learn on your own that you don't necessarily need schooling for. I think, when it comes to science, technology, engineering, medicine, mathematics, those all require schooling, or even law. But things that are more art, I think that, you know even if it's just your hobby, as long as you have great networking skills and you can develop a portfolio and learn things on your own, you don't necessarily need to go to school. I mean we could take music for example. Rappers, musicians, how many of them actually even went to school for music theory? Is that actually necessary? Maybe you should actually be in the field trying to develop your hobby into a career, and focusing, on your main money maker in college, if that makes sense. So I think that's just an interesting point to bring up. But ultimately, your tour decides, I am going to go to art school, and his next thing is actually trying to gain his mother's support, which I actually actually commend him for doing, because you know he was able to convey the idea to his mother. This art stuff is really important to me, you know because I'm doing art, it allows me to express myself, and it allows me to appreciate things that I couldn't appreciate before. And he expressed that to his mother by saying, when I started to draw your hands, I realized how many cuts and burns you had in your hand. I realized that you always give us the smallest portion, like very little things like that. And it was actually great that he could convince his mother to really do that. But a lot of the times in a lot of households, especially foreign households, that may never actually be the case. You may be on your own trying to fund yourself. I mean, hopefully your parents wouldn't do that, but you get what I'm trying to say. All right. So Yatora decides to choose his passion over essentially money. Essentially choosing the short route with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. He chooses art, which in reality, in most situations, people tend not to choose that. So it's really good that we got to see something in this anime. But there's also one more point that I want to discuss in the show that I think is important, not only in terms of in the context of this anime, but in your life and career, and that's insecurity and the idea of the imposter syndrome. Throughout prep school with Yatora, he has this idea that those who are talented pursue art and everyone else has to work really, really hard. Otherwise, you won't be nearly as good. You know, he has this idea that everyone else is better than him. And, he consistently questions himself. Like, he doesn't believe in himself. Even when Yotosuke told him, why are you even here in art school? Why are you doing art? You're good at everything else. You could be doing something else. Yotosuke questions himself a little bit. And you have to ask yourself, why are you even questioning yourself to begin with? You need to have that confidence and believe in yourself that, I'm putting in the work. I deserve to be here just as much here as the next person. But, his insecurities are not, it's probably with him personally, but, there's also people enabling it. Like one of Yaguchi's teachers telling him, I don't remember his name, but he had to put on like the purple jacket. And he's telling me, why are you doing art? This, that, and the third. And ultimately, he realizes his insecurity when he has his conversation with Koi, one of his friends, and he tells him, you've always been like this. You tend to be someone who lets people say what they want, and then you adjust to it, which is one big issue in your life because that shows that you lack confidence. And this lacking of confidence can also lead to imposter syndrome, in my opinion, or can stem from it. And imposter syndrome is essentially the idea that you don't deserve to be where you're at in life, or you don't deserve to be, you don't deserve to go where you're going. And you should never feel like that, just because, I've experienced this personally. Just because everyone else in the room looks different than you, they come from a different background than you, so you think, what they did was somehow better than what you did. But in the reality of the situation, you guys took the same tests, you guys took the same certifications, you guys got the same license, and whatever, you guys did the same stuff. So you deserve to be in that room just as much as the next person. And that's kind of something that Yotosuke struggles with, and he still may struggle with it, as anime continues. Now, I mean, the anime is only the first 12 episodes, so I mean, if there's more to it, I mean, we don't necessarily know. But if you manga readers, if you know more, you can tell me that. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video. So I really hope you enjoyed this style. If you want me to do more like this, then give me some ideas in the comment section. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.